What up, y'all? And welcome back to Wicked 101. As always, I'm your host, Defekt. That was supposed to be an air horn, but I hit the lamb, so fuck it, right? What up, everybody, man? We got a great show tonight. I got motherfucking Claas from the Underground Avengers. I actually give him some air horns. I just get the lamb, but Claas gets the air horns. But look, we got Claas in this motherfucker from Underground Avengers. He's one third of the trio with Boondocks, Claas, and Buckshot. And they recently released Anomaly 88, which is making waves, man. It's making some fucking noise in the underground, man. I'm really excited for my boy, man, because look, here's the deal. Me and Claas, we go back, man. A long time, man. This motherfucker's been grinding. Like, you guys, man, I don't know. Like, I get excited because it's like, you know, that's my homie from back in the day. And to see him doing the big things that he's doing right now, that's the shit to me, man. I love seeing that people coming up, especially people that I came up with, you know what I mean? And I just love seeing it. But this album is the shit, dude. I don't know if you've heard it yet, but if you haven't, you're kind of fucking up, man. But yeah, it's got a bunch of dope features, man. They got fucking Tech Nine, Twisted, Ritz, Jelly Roll, Chris Calico, Crucifix, Blazing Dead Homie, King ISO, that's all on one track. You know what I'm saying? Like, holy shit. It's just so fucking fresh, man. And but yeah, man, it's just super cool to see my homie grinding, man. But like I said, we go way back. And like here's a little taste of how far we go back. This is hanging up in my recording studio. This is the set list from the Gathering of the Juggalos 2007. And you'll see that they had me opening the fucking show. Fuckers. But yeah, they had me opening the show. And, you know, that's how it goes, though. But look, they had me opening, and then a couple sets later, you see that Claas down there, 240 to 310. He was grinding. We were all grinding. This motherfucker's making some moves, man. I'm just trying to let y'all know, like, shit's going down, man. This motherfucker. Look, I feel like I'm rambling now. So look, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna get the motherfucker on the line. I'm gonna play a track here. This is All Fall Down. This is some Claas shit, and you know, we're trying to school you here on Wicked 101. That's the whole point, man. We're gonna talk about the history of Claas, how he came up in the game. We're gonna talk about Underground Avengers, his new album Anomaly 88. We're going to talk about what's next for Claas. We're going to take some calls a little bit later. It's going to be a good time, man, so I hope you guys stick with us. And we are back in this motherfucker. Let me just get Claas up on the screen here, man. I got to pipe it in. You know, we working with this ancient technology, the classroom shits. So, Claas, I think you're on the screen, bro.
I see myself.
And I think we can hear you, too. How you feeling tonight, man?
Feeling good. Still sick as shit, but feeling good.
Yeah, you sound a little under the weather, man. Is that the Juggalo plague from being on tour?
Pretty much, man.
Just being around the crowd, just got all fucked up in the game. I heard you fucked up your leg too.
Yeah, no, it feels decent now. But yeah, for a minute there, like I guess. It was like real sore, fucking would get stiff after every show and feel like it was fucking broke. And then plus being in the band, you know, with all the other big motherfuckers, it's like there was no room to move it around, so it would just fucking lock up.
Right. Yeah, you had to share it with Axe, right? You had to share the van with Axe on the tour.
Yeah. 3 of their homies that were also working for Magic and Buck.
Jesus Christ! So how many people in the van total?
8 in a 12-passenger van that fits 4.
And they were all big motherfuckers too, right? Like, I mean, like the Axe Boys they're some big dudes.
Yeah, no, I mean, and then, you know, both me and Buck are like 6'3", 280 plus.
Right. Yeah, fucking. I seen what you posted on what is it, Facebook or Instagram? Where you're like, if the Axe was a family, they're gonna be family now, or some shit.
Yeah. We're all real close in that bitch.
How was the tour anyway, man? Other than being stuffed in a van like sardines, you have a good time out there?
Yeah, tour was good, man. Met a lot of people that have been, fucking with me for years. Met a lot of people that were newer to my music through Magic, and just got to meet a lot of people. All the shows were a lot of fun. Fucking all the acts on the tour, obviously Triple MFD. Those are my boys. Got to know Axe a whole lot better, which I mean, I love those dudes. Lana Black and them, they were really cool people and shit. So like the fucking tour was dope.
What do you think was the hypest crowd?
Either Worcester, Dallas, or Dayton. Like those three stand out the most. Like those three were probably the wildest three shows that we had.
Now you're no stranger to touring though, right? Like you've been touring for a long time, and I mean, I saw that flyer I got hanging up in the studio from 2007, The Gathering. I mean, you've played The Gathering a million times, pretty much every fucking year that I was there. I think pretty much like you're always playing The Gathering.
I played The Gathering like 12 or 13 years straight.
That might be a record.
That includes 2 times on main stage, and then several times on second stage late night, and then I even played like the fucking 2 o'clock in the afternoon fucking death stage, full of heat.
Right.
But I mean, yeah, I went on tour with Rec a few years back with Recognized for Strange Music. Like we went on tour a few years back. I did a stint on Blaze's Clockwork Gray tour some odd years back. So no, I mean, I've toured a little bit here and there.
Yeah, but this might have been one of the biggest scale ones, though. Would you say, right? I mean,
this
or
was
probably the longest.
Yeah, because I mean, I went with Twisted on a Fright Fest before, but it was only like 5 shows. Recognized was only like 8 shows. Blaze, I think I ended up doing 8 or 9 shows, but this was like 21 or 22 shows.
Well, you gotta love it. You gotta love it to be finally getting out there and getting your name out there. And I'm really happy for. I feel like I'm gushing like a teenage girl or some shit. But I'm just really happy for you, man, because I've watched you come up and put in the work, and I just want to give you a little round of applause, man, because I'm really excited for the moves that you're making in the game. You know what I mean?
Thank you. I appreciate it, man. It's been a long fucking road, but feels nice, man. It's hard work fucking paid off, for the most part, so can't really complain.
Right. So what do you got a pretty distinct style, bro. Like I want to go all the way back to when you were a little Claas, and I want to know, like, who are your inspirations? I mean, obviously, you followed the path of the wicked and you kind of went down that road, but who inspired Claas to pick up the mic?
For the most part, like I was really into ICP when I was young. Obviously, I was into Twisted when they popped on the scene. But the majority, like, I think where I got a lot of my style from is I was hardcore into like shit like the Casualties and like really hardcore punk, and then like I was a big fan of DMX and Ice Cube. And I think like just the aggressive nature, like my style, my aggressiveness on stage, like shit like that, I think is kind of formed from like that trio, like Ice Cube and DMX and how dark he was. And then like just like the way I used to love the way like punk rock shows were. They weren't like laid back. They're like in your face. It's like I always used to say like I want my show to be like a quick kick to the face. Like I don't want you to like have time to like think about it. I want to just come out and basically, fucking kick you in the goddamn teeth and then be gone. Like that's what I like.
Right. Well, I mean, from what I've seen, you tend to do that. I left with my wig on the ground. I'm still picking it up. So, hell yeah, man. Yeah, Fright Fest was the shit though, man. It was cool to see you putting it down like that, man. The kick to the face, man. I mean, that's the only way you can explain it.
That's I always thought, man. It's like I never wanted to be like, like when I first started, man, I didn't have a fucking clue, dude. Like basically, I learned majority of my shit from like McNasty, like early, but I didn't really know how to do a show. Like I swear to God, the first show I ever did, I stood in one corner of the fucking stage because I didn't have an idea of what to do, and just slowly built on it. But I never wanted to just be like average rap show where you just kind of stand and kind of walk back and forth, and like I wanna make people like mosh. Like I want my shit to be like a rock show but with rap. Like I like the violent aspect of it, because when I went to shows when I was 17, 18 years old, like I was in a mosh pit.
Right.
I was trying to fuck shit up. So that's kind of what I want, man. I want my shit to be more like energetic. Like I don't want to just be that dude that's just like yo, you know what I mean? Like
yeah. And it's it's got to be like coming from somebody as a solo artist and a fat kid to boot. When you're up there by yourself, it's a lot harder to pull that off, I think. But when you got a trio like Underground Avengers, I feel like it kind of helps lend to that energy, and you guys can feed off each other, and there's more jumping around. You know what I mean? Would you agree with that?
I mean, I learned real quick. Like that's why I've always, for the majority of the time I've been performing, I've always had a hype man. And like that person knows, like, I want their energy level to try to be 10 times more than my energy level. Because I'm going to give off a lot of energy. So if they can give off even more energy, it's just going to look really dope. And it's going to get people involved and get people hype and want to be involved in the show and be a part of the show. And so like that's what we try to do, man. We try to really be aggressive and be on point with our shit, and have each other's timing down, and it's just like a good overall show in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure, man. So you said punk rock. Like what kind of punk shit were you listening to back then?
I mean, it was just like the more hard shit, like like the fucking like dark clubs, dirty venues style fucking punk rock, like just all like off the wall shit, man. Like not really like pop punk and emo and shit like that. Just kind of like that weird dark room shit where the club might only fit like 60 people in there, but those 60 people might all come out of there with bruises.
Right. If you were to put if you were to say I've heard people say my style is a combination of this person, and this person. If you could put together like 3 people that were like the biggest inspirations that were like filtered down into what Claas is, what would you say the 3 most influential people were?
I mean, like I said, probably Ice Cube and DMX, and because they were both super aggressive for rap. Like they weren't your average
take no shit, take no prisoners.
Yeah, especially DMX. Like when he came on the fucking scene, it was like a whole new ball game, because it was like that dude was as mainstream as you could get. Like he was #1 on Billboard, one of the most popular dudes ever. But he was dark. He was super. I mean, he has a whole fucking album cover where he's covered in blood. You know what I mean? Like
right.
Like it was a different thing. And then like I don't think I could pinpoint a third group. I would just literally say, like hardcore and like punk rock, like just shit where you're like just a style of music where the people on stage are moving back and forth and running back and forth and jumping in the fucking crowd. I mean, even the UGA shows, like there were shows where me and Buck would jump in the fucking crowd and mosh while still rapping and shit, dude. Like just that good organic fucking like really live energy shit.
Right. So you've been around a long time, man, and I kind of mentioned it. I've been knowing you a long time, and how many albums have you put out in that time, man? I feel like a lot of people might have that are watching this might know you from Underground Avengers, and maybe they're just now hearing the name Claas, or maybe they're just now getting into your music. Like what albums should they go back and look at if they want to really get the whole Claas experience. You know what I mean? Like what would you say is the pinnacle album that they should go and look at first?
I mean, if you want to go back and check shit out, then I would say go check out Anarchaic, which was the very first like formal album I put out.
And that came out in what, 2004, 2005?
Yeah, around 2004. And then I'd say also Celebrity Death, which came out about a year and a half later. People still talk to me to this day about those two albums. So I would say if you wanna trace back to where I started, those are probably the two, Anarchaic and Celebrity Death. If you want to kind of see how I've evolved and like really like where I stand now, then I would say go check out F Me F You, which is the first release I put out with the LSP, and I like, in my opinion, that's probably the pinnacle. Like that's me at my best, you know, at that point. Like it took me 2 years to make that album, and I just feel like start to finish, it's probably my best work, you know, to date.
And that one was pretty recent too, like the last year or two, right?
It was 2 years ago, almost 3 years ago.
Yeah. That's why I feel like that one was like right around the corner. But you know, like my time is all fucked up because like last time I did was 2012, you know, and like then it's like 6 years later, and I'm like fuck, you know, so it's like my time gets all fucked up, so it's hard. But I feel like that one was right around there. That's the shit. So Anarchaic, Celebrity Death, but you got a bunch of shit. You got Almost Classic, Campaign Trail, Devil's Tongue. What am I forgetting here?
Shit, dude. So there was Anarchaic and Celebrity Death. There was Almost Classic, which was a collection of songs prior to Anarchaic. There was Good Morning, Campaign Trail. I've done 3 different You Mad mixtapes. There's a Sick Gang CD with me and some homies. The first UGA project, the second UGA project, Devil's Tongue, F Me F You. Man, like I think I'm somewhere, like I've done like 15 or 16 total projects.
Jesus. And probably a bunch of guest appearances sprinkled in there as well, right?
Yeah.
I know.
Man, the amount of collabs is fucking outrageous. Like I found this like folder on a computer. It's like a folder of gold that had like 300 some odd songs that I had been on, and it's not even like total
songs, dude. Holy shit! Are you fucking with me, man? 300?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Well, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Continue. You were about to tell us about your.
Like it's and I don't even think that's like all of them. Like I think there's still some out there that I don't have, and there's a lot of like songs that I've done for people that I've never heard. But the amount of songs I've done for other people is astounding. Like honestly.
What would you, out of the collabs that you have done, what do you think would be your favorite?
Shit, dude, that's a good fucking question.
And you can't say Thanos.
Right. No. Man, I did some shit, like, I got some tracks back in the day with McNasty, and some tracks with people like Gruesome, and some tracks with Shy One, like from way back in the day that I fucking love. Like me and Shy One at one point were working on a project like years ago, and we just never got it finished, but those songs are still like really dope to me.
Yeah.
So
I have all kinds of shit that's like never got finished, but just sitting there dope, like a brick of dopeness that's just never been released.
And it's like shit that's never like been out either. It's like only shit that we've heard.
Right.
You know, like
that's always like a, you don't want to get drunk one night and be like, I'm gonna fucking release this, and then you're like, maybe I shouldn't have did that. You ever have one of those moments?
Luckily, it would take a lot to be really drunk and upload and send out a link.
Right.
A lot too.
300 Claas tracks. Here you go. Dropbox. Yeah, that would be bad. Don't do that. But yeah, man. I just want to be able to like let people know that like I said, the M&E crowd and people that maybe just getting hip to you now, man. I want to like show them where they can get this shit. So like the stuff we're talking about, these albums, can you get them on Gore Hop and M&E Store? I mean, I know M&E Store just has the new album, right? But
yeah, M&E just has an album. I'm in the works. I gotta get the files over to LSP so that we can re-release all this older stuff. So
nice.
I'm hoping by maybe early next year that like all my back catalog shit is back available. Like right now through them you can get FMEFU and you can get Devil's Tongue, but and I'm sure there's like random spots on the internet from way back in the day where you can get older albums of mine. But yeah, hopefully early next year we re-release everything that like all my previous shit, you know.
Right. So, well, that's the shit. Are you gonna put them out on CDs or just like on the like iTunes and shit?
No, I'll probably try to do both, man. I'll probably try to
Nice.
do CDs and try to get them up on Spotify and shit and all that.
Okay, sweet. But in the meantime, you can get a couple of the albums at Gore Hop, and then M&E Store has the new UGA album, right?
Yeah, and you can get the older UGA album and the remake Apollyon album with the new songs on Mob Style Music web store.
Right. Now, so later in the career, like what year did you link up with LSP?
That was about what gathering was that? That was like I want to say 2015, 2014.
Okay.
It's been about 3.5 years or so. 3.5. It's been about 3.5 years since I linked up with them.
I think people are interested in like hearing like the story of how shit like that comes about. So like obviously, you know, Scum's been in the game as long as us, you know what I mean, just killing shit. But how did you eventually get to linking up with them, you know, and moving forward in that direction?
Man, I was honestly at a point where like I didn't even know if I really was into rapping and shit anymore, and just was kind of like out. And actually, a homeboy of mine was actually my dude Kenny was actually like, you know, what would you think about, you know, trying to link up with, you know, LSP? You know, they've got a decent machine behind them, and you know, they seem to push their artists. Their fan base is sick. So, you know, what would you think? And I was like, you know, we can see what's up. You know, talk to him and shit, and you know, because me and Scum have been friends for a while. I've known IP for years, and so like I had friends, you know, over there and shit. So we kind of went through it, and he kind of back channeled it with Scum and them, and then was talking to them, and then I kind of talked to him, and I think we talked for about a 4 or 5 month period about it all, and then finally we were all good on it. Like we. You know, I was ready to do it. They were ready to do it. They were sufficiently ready to push it, and you know, I was ready to start getting to work on a new album. So, you know, we kind of made it official at I want to say it was the 2015 gathering. Pretty sure it was the 2015 gathering. The first one at the new spot that they use now.
Right.
So that was that, man. It was just a matter of at that point getting the album done. But I was happy where I was. You know, their fan bases embraced me, which is cool because I mean, you know, I'm nothing like Scum and them. Like, you know, real, like, to be like real honest, like I'm nothing like, you know, pretty much anybody on the label. Like they all kind of, you know, they do their own thing with their, you know, with Gore Hop and all that. I'm kind of on the outside of that. You know, I still do dark music, you know, and, you know, horrorcore and shit like that, but it's not to that extent.
Right.
You know, but they're super cool and accepting, and so like it's been dope.
Well, you don't want to have like 100 different versions of Scum on the label. You know what I mean? You want to have a variety of different talent. You know what I mean? M&E pulls that off great, man. They got a whole roster of guys, and they're all different. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
That's their thing too. Like just, you know, adding me is like it was like adding a new like wrinkle into what they got going on. Like it kind of changes up and brings in, you know, other people to check them out and shit. You know, like a more hip hop esque horrorcore, you know, kind of vibe.
Right. You're talking about LSP still, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, a lot of that shit is a lot of the shit that they got going on is very straight to the point horrorcore, slash your fucking throat. You know what I'm saying? like the balls to the wall. Like I'm gonna murder this bitch. You know, like it's. But you kind of have like you said, a little bit more of the hip hop vibe going on. You know, so but it's still dark. You know what I mean?
Yeah, mine's more of like the telling of the story rather than the straight to the point.
Right. I like to think that my music's kind of like that too. You know, kind of more the kind of flirting with the idea and before we get to the actual knife to the throat. You know what I mean?
Rather than going straight to it, I want to tell you what led up to it before it happened.
Right. Let's you know, flirt around a little bit. You know, before we go all in. You know, I'm just stick the tip in real quick and then you know. But look, man. So you were talking about a folder of songs that nobody's ever heard, right? And it got me to thinking that you know, back in the day, way back in the day, there was even talk about a project with that me and you were both supposed to be on. You even remember this? What you broke up there? What'd you say?
The NBK.
Yeah. Whatever happened to that?
I don't know, man. I don't even remember like legitly what did happen. I remember like I put out like a verse and I think I did one other song, like verse for one other song, and it was all supposed to happen. And I don't ever remember if that was pre-V signing to Psychopathic or Sans V signing to.
It was definitely Sans. It was definitely Sans.
I literally don't know what happened.
I think what happened personally. I think what happened is we had how many people were in the group? Like 6 or 7, and they were all in different cities. They were all on different agendas, on different labels, on different time zones. You know what I mean? Like it was just.
Yeah.
I remember sending out like this folder one time of this is what we have so far, and then like I never heard anything from anybody, and everybody just had like different shit going on. You know what I mean? It just never really happened. Would you agree with that?
The concept at the time was dope because it hadn't really been done. You know, it would have been super fucking cool to like knock it out and achieve it, but it is what it is, man. You know, everybody's gung ho for shit. You know, until you know you really have to
put in the work.
Get to work, and then it's like I don't know if I can really have the time for this.
I don't know how I'm gonna get to the studio. You know, there's excuse after excuse.
I mean, I remember I think I recorded 2 or 3 verses for it. I was totally down, so you know, shit happens.
Yeah, it is what it is. So, did you ever think? You know, I seen a couple pictures you posted on Instagram. You posted like a picture of you in an Alf shirt. Like that one was just funny. But then there was another one that was you and Jamie Madrox, and then there was another one with you and Tech Nine. You were like a young version of yourself, like you were babyface Claas. I don't think there was any facial hair out there. And, back then, did you ever think in a million years that you know you'd be doing a track with both of those motherfuckers on one track, let alone doing an album that was released by Jamie? You know what I mean? Like by Twisted's label. Like, I mean, I just think about like me as my little old school Juggalo self. I would never have imagined in a million years that I'd even be working for those guys, let alone putting out an album on their label. So, could you even imagine that shit back then?
No, because, I mean, dude, even, like, back, those pictures are, like, circa, like, fucking 2000.
Right.
Like, one with Jamie was, like, 99 or so.
Yeah.
And then one with Tech is, like, 2000. I wasn't even rapping then. Like, it wasn't even, like, something I was fucking doing at the time, you know? Like, I was, you know, I think in 2000, 2001, I was kind of dabbling with it. I think that's around the time that we were messing with the Full Scale Riot shit, me and McNasty, but I don't think I was like, serious with it. I was just kind of fucking around with it. I know for sure the picture that I put with me and Jamie, like I wasn't, like I was literally just a fucking kid in the crowd. Like I didn't have any intentions of rap. It was just I was meeting Twisted. Like I was,
right.
For the old school days where it was like the show would get over and you could go to the back of the venue and shit, and usually meet. There weren't like VIPs and shit back then. Like you just went to the back of the venue after a show, and you usually had the opportunity real quick to meet, artists. Like if you got back there and they were kicking it and shit. But it's super crazy to put it all into perspective, man. To grow up a fan, of these dudes, and then kind of get into rap and get to a point in rap where it's like, you gain some acknowledgement, and then get to a point where it's like you meet them and like know them on a different level to the, that's different from when you originally met them, and now to get to a level where like literally, I was on a song with both of them, Twisted and Tech on a song, and like literally, the group I'm in is fucking signed to Magic. Like it's kind of like mind blowing, like the whole. It's the epitome of going full circle. Like it's wild to think about.
Right. I mean, that's really all you can. I mean, it's just you look at those pictures and it's like I just imagine this kid at like never in a million years. You know what I mean? I know I'm sounding like a broken record, but it's crazy to look at those pictures and just think about like you didn't have a fucking thought in your mind that one day you would be able to do that. I mean, that's a huge accomplishment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like like in the picture, it's like like especially the one with the Twisted ones. Like I couldn't find the one with Paul. But like in that picture, like I like it was like to a point where like. I didn't even know what to say to those guys. Like it was like it was just like the holy shit moment. Like holy shit, I'm fucking, meeting Twisted. Like
right.
well, like what the fuck.
Right.
To like I just got done doing 21 shows. Basically being direct support. For them on a nightly basis. Like it's fucking crazy, dude. It's like it makes it all worth it. As long as I've been doing this, and as much as it's been a struggle at times. It's like there's always cool shit that happens during the struggle that kind of reveals itself and makes it worth it again. Like it's crazy to think about, dude.
Crazy indeed. So moving on a little bit, UGA. Let's talk about UGA a little bit. How the fuck did you hook up with Boondocks and Buckshot to begin with? You know what I mean? Like, I just think, like, you're talking about 3 totally different cities, 3 totally different styles. Like, well, how the hell did that even come to, like, I mean, I just imagine, like, in my mind, like, the same way the Avengers are kind of like this ragtag group of, like, misfits or whatever, you guys kind of came together like that. Was that like an inspiration for the name, where it was like, Avengers Assemble, and like, you know what I mean? Like, how did all that come about? I guess let me just stop rambling and just say that.
You're on the path. Like that's the funnest thing about the whole. Like I don't know if some, I imagine some people might think like the name is fucking cheesy and shit, and it's like, but for the most part, all 3 of us are fucking nerds. So I was already talking to Buck at the time, and so like we had been talking about like doing some songs together, and like trading off a couple tracks. And so I recorded one, he recorded one, he sent it to me, I sent it to him. Boom, 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 and we dug the fuck out of the tracks. And so at that point, he was like, what would you think about doing a group? And I didn't have a whole lot going on at the time, so I was like, bet, like, let's. Why not? The tracks are dope. Let's fuck with it. And then, fucking a little bit later, like he hits me up and he's like, "Hey, you know who Boondocks is?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course, He's like, "What would you think about him joining the group?" And so it was like,
this just seems so left field You know, like the way you put it like that. Like I was fucking with the Buckshot, and then like all of a sudden it's like, you know who Boondocks is, right? Yeah.
The key to the story is it was Boondocks in between his psychopathic stints.
Okay.
And so he was off of psychopathic at the time and was looking to work. And
but he didn't know what to do, and he was kind of like, he just kind of wanted to do something different.
Him and Buck talking, and I guess Buck talked to him about the shit we were doing, and fucking so we started. So we basically like we put songs together and shit, and it was that he joined the group, and at that time, the year that we put out the album, or the year, because originally we didn't actually have a fucking name, like we didn't know what to go with, we didn't have a name, but at that same year, like a little bit before we started recording the album, that's when the original Avengers movie came out from like the new sequence of movies.
Right.
And so the idea was dope, you know, because it's like, you know, in the comic realm, it's like, you know, the whole premise of the Avengers is they're all heroes, they're all separate entities, but at any certain time they might have to come together to do something, you know, as a group. And
right.
So like that premise was perfect, because it was like we were all solo artists, we're all separate entities, but for this moment in time, we were going to come together, you know, to be a group, put out this album. So, and then we had the whole premise of like, you know, saving the underground, you know, and so like it just fucking worked, dude. Underground Avengers, you know, it just made the most sense, you know. It was like the whole premise of the whole thing was dope, and even of course the aspect of like comic books and superheroes and shit, because like we were all into that shit, and you know, so it just kind of fell together, dude.
Right. I mean, I can see behind you, you got like a whole wall of pops, so it appears that you're a waller, as they say.
Yeah.
what's
left or up here either?
What's that? You broke up a little bit.
I said you get the ones to my left that are walled up, or the ones that are above
Jesus.
that are walled up.
What do you think is the coolest pop that you have? Do you collect like the rare ones, or are you one of the guys that just like, you know what, I like horror movies, I'm gonna collect horror movies, or do you actually are you like looking for the shit like Paula JBR?
I like to look for rare ones, but I do like, I collect a lot of WWE and like wrestling ones.
Right.
I collect horror ones, and I collect a shit ton of Batman, and so those are the most part. But then I like to grab some cool shit. Like my two of my favorites are like, I'm a big fan of Billy from Saw, and I found like a Chase fucking glow in the dark Comic-Con convention special one that's worth a ton of money, and I found it online for like $20.
Damn.
And then Sam from Trick or Treat, because it's one of my favorite movies, so I like that one too. But I've got a ton, dude, all over the place that I fucking dig. My Sting ones, because I'm a huge, you can't see my Sting throne over here either. Like, it's off the screen to my left, where it's like action figures and autographs and little die-cast figures and my Sting pops, and so like those are cool to me too.
That's the shit, man. Yeah, I decided a long time ago. I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna jump on this bandwagon, because I didn't want to put that much bread into it. I mean, obviously, just looking at the wall behind you, I mean, just the wall behind you is probably hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars of pops, right?
I try not to think about it.
My bad. I didn't mean to bring it up.
Until the day comes where I have to think about it and I need to sell them all off.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like a CD collection, you know? It's like when you're buying CDs as a kid, it's like, oh, $10 here, $10 there, $10 here. And then, like, all of a sudden you have 1,000 CDs, and you're like, holy shit, I must have spent, like, a life savings worth of money on these CDs, you know? That's kind of...
Yeah, you never think about that. Like, I mean, I used to have, remember them old school fucking booklets that were, like, this fucking thick?
Right.
You know, and you could, like, 400 CDs in there. I mean, you imagine most brand new CDs were $12 a pop.
Yeah.
You know, if that thing was full, 400 CDs, And even if we just say $10 a pop, that's $4,000 in that little case.
Right. God forbid somebody breaks into your truck and takes that shit. That was like the worst nightmare scenario.
That was the worst because back then you couldn't just plug your phone into your radio. So if somebody jacked your shit, like your world ended. Like you had to listen to the radio.
Right. I used to just take my real CDs and create a burn disc and take that in the ride so that if my ride got broken into and somebody took my CDs, I still have my CDs. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. We're getting off topic, but
yeah, the Sharpie mix CD where it just had all your favorite shit on it.
Right. Yeah, and then as the years progressed, it was just CDs of stuff I was working on after a while.
Yeah.
But so we were talking about Underground Avengers though. You said your guys are a bunch of nerds. You like that shit. That's how we kind of got into that. Okay, so you hooked up with Buckshot first. It's the two of you guys. Did any of that shit, that early shit that you started fucking with, get released on either of the albums, or is there like tracks that never got released that are just sitting in that vault of 300?
Both of those songs are on the first album. Okay. Originally, I think one had a dude named Kid Fix on it, and we took him off, and then the other one had Molly Gruesome on it, and we took her off. But I think later on, Buck ended up releasing the one with her on it, which was Face on the Asphalt.
Right.
So yeah, no, both of those songs that we had originally done together ended up on the album.
Right. Do you know which ones those were, just for the history's sake of it?
It was Face on the Asphalt, and then man, the other one I think the other one is man, I just want to pick on my own song titles.
Look, man, Twisted's gone through so many songs. There's been times we were sitting there playing. I'll be playing a track during Ashtray's break or something, and Jamie will be like, "Man, we sounded dope. What album is this?" And I'm like, "Oh my god, this is one of the best songs ever." And he's like, "I don't remember."
That's funny.
They've done so much music, man. They don't even know.
I can hear it in my head, like I'm sitting here like reciting the words, but I can't remember the title. It's the fucking one where we talk about getting out your iPhones and your phones. Like,
I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
I don't know what to do with my hands. Yeah, you got me. I don't remember what the fuck the song is called.
I have stumped him. He gets a fail horn.
Right? I'll remember it. Break into the middle of you talking and say the name. I'll just blurt it out.
Right.
Red style.
So you linked up with Buckshot. You linked up with Boondocks. So Buckshot was the one that brought Boondocks into the fold, more or less, right?
Say that again.
Buckshot is the one that brought Boondocks in, right?
Yeah. They had been talking. I guess. I mean, I don't know how long they had been talking and shit, but I just know that whenever the shit, whatever happened and he left Psychopathic, like it just kind of fell into our laps that he was looking for something to do and we had something to do. And
the that first album, what label did that come out on? Because that wasn't I don't remember.
It was a collab between Mob Style, Buck's label, and the label that I was on at the time called R2. Like they kind of went together to put it out.
Got you. And yeah, okay. I'm just trying to think of the time period. That was before LSP, right?
Yeah, way before.
Way before. What year was that? 2011. Okay.
2011.
And just for perspective, you guys, like, what city are you? You're in Texas, right?
Yeah, I live in Dallas-Fort Worth.
Dallas-Fort Worth, and Boondocks, isn't he in Seattle now?
Yeah, he's in Seattle, Washington, and Buck is in Louisville, Kentucky.
Okay, so that's like 3 corners of the country, three
Yeah.
different styles. So, I mean, when you put it like that, the name really kind of makes sense. You know what I mean? When you start thinking about like the Avengers and everything we were talking about, that's dope. I didn't know where that came from. What about Anomaly 88? Like the name Anomaly 88 for the new album. Let's talk about the new album a little bit. Where did that come from? Can you elaborate? I know there's been some speculation online, some haters, and some just people trying to figure out what that means, like, or how it fits with the whole saga. Is there anything you can tell us?
It's kind of like a secret album title name. Like we wanted to do something fun, but like if you listen to the album and you listen to the skits where the guys are talking and it's talking about what's coming, yada yada yada, it kind of explains it in those skits. It doesn't outright tell you. It just kind of gives you a hint at what the title is. So
you're basically answering the question without answering the question. That's what you're saying.
Basically.
And
if anybody guessed it, then we would put it out there. If they got it, and then we would put it out there and let everybody know that that's exactly what it is. But until then, it's fun to have like this secret title that gets people talking. I mean, some people want to talk about it negatively, but you know what the fuck ever. Some people also get their phones stolen and slapped in the middle of the street. But other people just like to think about it. Like they like the puzzle. Like they like the aspect, because it's like it's literally like another dimension to the comic aspect. Like it's like here's like some secret thing inside of this thing. And it's like, decipher it, like figure it out. Like it's a code. It's a fucking code.
I'm too dumb to figure that out, man. It's like I mean I get like the whole concept and everything, but like I didn't pick up on the clues, and you made it hard for a reason. So people would be talking about it. You know what I mean?
It's fun because like we kind of knew it was a two-pronged thing. Like one, you kind of get worried because it's like you don't want to think an album title makes an album, but at the same time, album titles are a big deal. It's like, people gravitate to what an album title is called. It gives them some sort of insight to the album in its entirety. Like if it's a dark title, you assume it's a dark album. Like if shit like that. Like so there is an aspect of worry when you do something like this. But at the same time, it's like, when people, we kind of figured when people saw the album title, it was going to create its own buzz, because it's like, it doesn't explain anything.
Yeah.
So it's just like, all we gave you was like this this space age fucking thing, and like this fucking alien alternate planet kind of vibe, and this title. And it's like, it's up to you to kind of figure out the fuck we're talking about.
Right.
I will tell you this, though. The title was created in a Skyline Chili in Louisville. It doesn't help you at all.
Like, if you go to that Skyline Chili in Louisville, is there clues there? Like, if they were to sit in the exact spot that you guys were sitting, and they looked around, would there be a clue there, or is it just something that came up in conversation?
No, I should have fucking did it. I should have wrote it down on like the table in Sharpie. Find that one Skyline Chili in Louisville, you'll get it.
Right. Like underneath the table in Sharpie. You have juggalos looking under the tables with their phone lights, trying to figure it out.
No, we were just kind of eating when I was out there. Like while we were out there and I was recording, we were all just kind of we were just eating, and me and Buck were just kind of brainstorming, titles and what we thought the title should be and what we thought the title should mean, and that's just that title's what came about. Like we thought it sounded good. We took it to Dirty, and he jumped on board, and Magic didn't have any issues with it, and so we ran with it.
I was just looking at some of the comments in the feed here. Jeremy Bolanger says Anomaly 88 is the best record to drop this year. Great to see the local homies killing it. So hell yeah.
Nice.
I just wanted to read that one because it stuck out to me. But yeah, man, the album is great. I mean, and I gotta say it. I don't want to take anything away from Buckshot or Boondocks, but I feel like you sounded the hungriest on that album. Would you agree with that statement? Like you sounded like you were just like ferocious.
You know, just
like
in a real honest way, like I have to. You know, despite me being in the game for as long as I've been, people don't really know me as well as they know the other two. Like, you know, Boondocks is cemented in Juggalo and underground lore, so like
right.
People get it. You know, Buck has a great fucking following. You know, like people know him. Like, you know, he does very well. You know, so like I'm like that third member that I feel like, you know, at all times I still have to prove myself, which is fine because it makes me work harder. It makes me want to, you know, it makes me want to, in a sense, like outshine them. Like I'm not trying to do it like to be a dick. It just makes me work harder when I'm writing and when I'm recording and shit like that. It makes me want to stand out because if I stand out, then, you know, the album's going to just be that much better because those two, they already have such a built-in following that people are going to love it no matter what. So if I can bring another element, you know, of it being that fucking good, then it kind of helps put it over the top.
For sure, and I think it did. Let me ask you this, you know, like doing music with my homies like V Sinister and Staples and, you know, shit that I be doing, you know, we're always got kind of like a competitive vibe, like you were talking about, like you trying to one up them, you know. Do you guys go back and forth like that? Like I'm gonna kill you on this track, or oh shit, I gotta go redo my verse. You know what I mean? Like you guys have that kind of banter.
Not in so many, like not in words, but like I would imagine, you know, there's always going to be that sense, especially when you're three solo artists forming a group. Like I'll be real honest, like my verse on Thanos is me attempting to be the best person on that song, knowing damn well I'm not going to be.
Right.
But like I did everything in my power to stand out as much as I could. I went outside of my comfort zone. I went outside of what people know me for as my rap. And I fucking, you know, I went for it with a bunch of dudes who are choppers, you know, and who are known for it. I went for the same fucking threshold.
You went for the jugular.
So I think there is like this era of competition. Like, you know, all of us want our shit to stand out on this album. Like all of us want to be the best. But I think that's what makes it so good. But it's also, you know, there's elements that, even though it's like that, it's like it's awesome because it's like, you know, when we were recording, you know, when I was in the studio with Buck, he would be like, well, what if you do this? And then, or I'd be like, well, what if you do this? And like, even the engineer would be like, well, what if we change this and do this? You know, like, it's like, you know, even though, you know, I would imagine being three solo artists, there is some competition in it. Still, to make it a dope, cohesive album, you know, there's those elements of like helping each other out, you know?
Right. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing better than being able to feed off people, man, because there's nothing less motivating to try to just work by yourself and like do everything yourself, you know what I mean? When you can feed off other artists, I mean, it just makes the project that much better, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
So, what do you think stood out on the album for you, like, as far as like these tracks? Because like, I liked My Room. I liked Yeti Cup. That one was funny. I don't know how to pronounce this, but Algedonic, I think it was.
Yeah, Algedonic.
That was dope. What do you think was your favorite track? Was it what was your favorite track on it?
My favorite track is My Room. Verse specifically. I feel like me being the opening verse to that song and just the way I did that verse, like I really feel like it sets a tone for that song that's like really dope, especially with Gray's hook. You know, because we got his hook and we were not expecting, you know, what he gave us. And so I love that track overall. I dig Algedonic because it's a storytelling track in essence. You know, basically it's a dope track of like about basically like a serial killer, with people chasing them, and like that person is telling other people like what they're doing, like why they're making it worse by chasing. You know what I mean? Like how they're making it worse by chasing them. Like any top tier like serial killer over the years, like they'll write letters, leave notes, like traces, like shit that tells you they're one step ahead, and that's what that whole track is. I love Goodfellas. That song is awesome because like actually like we had the beat.
Stevie Stone's on that one, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
We had that beat, and just so happened that both me and Buckshot wrote something about Goodfellas in our verse, just on a whim. No title at the point, so it was like it was built in like automatically for us to call it Goodfellas, which is dope to me because that's one of my favorite movies of all time. And so like I love old mob shit, and like I love that concept. And then I think The Rising, man. I think The Rising is one of my favorite songs. It's like, to wait 7 years to put out a new album, you got to hit people with something. People are expecting something, and like I don't know if like that track's really what you're expecting. Like it's so like it's kind of like an epic, like it's kind of got its own like epic comic movie stance to it. Like it's a big song. Like the way the hook is, like the verses, the way the music sounds, the way it comes in. I really dig The Rising and how we kicked off the album.
Right. Well, shit, man. It's a dope fucking record, man. And of course, finishing it with Thanos is like the perfect way to finish the album. I think you got a who's who of underground talent on there. So how did let me ask you this, man, and then maybe after this I'll play a couple of Claas videos, and then we'll come back, take some calls. How did it all come about with Magic Ninja? Like, was it like Boondocks? Because I kind of imagine, Boondocks was already over there. He brought it up like, hey, man, we should do this project with these guys. Like, how did all that come about?
In actuality, man, like, we hadn't really had any plans to do anything else. Like that one album was it. Like we didn't really have any like forthcoming plans, and but one day me and Bucket started talking, and we're like, it'd be dope to try to do something else, because it's like, dude, like I literally I couldn't go a day for 7 years without at least one or two people mentioning Underground Avengers, and if we were going to do anything else. And so we had started talking and just like, well, what do you think? Could we pull it off? At this time, nothing to do with the label. We were talking with Boondocks about it and trying to, get the business aspect, all squared away, and trying to do all that. And then actually some dudes from out here in Dallas, Fort Worth, they wanted to put on a show that would be a Boondock show. But then they had the idea to see if me and Buck would be down, and if we were down, to see if Boondocks would be okay with it, to do an Underground Avengers show, and to like do, a show where all three of us perform, but then at the very end of that, we all get together and do like, an Underground Avengers set. So we were all down, and that was kind of the tipping point, man. Like that show was so insane. Like it was so crazy. There was people flying in from across the country to this show here in Dallas Fort Worth, dude. I mean, there was people that drove like 12 hours for one fucking show on a Saturday. People that bought plane tickets from like Michigan and Florida and shit like that to fly in for one show on a Saturday.
I believe
just to see Underground Avengers, do this show. And it was so big. Like it was such a big deal that everything else just kind of fell together after that, dude. We got upstairs, green room after, and we were just kind of like, so, what the fuck is up? Like, when are we doing this album? Because obviously people want it. And then it was a couple of weeks later or so that you know, Buck was telling me that, you know, George and them were interested, and you know, to being a part of this, to putting the project out, and to, you know, us signing and doing all this shit. You know, like at that time, it's like, you know, wow, like that's crazy, but you're still kind of like, you know, like we'll see.
Right.
Then it was like, then it was legit. Then it was like they're 100% in. Everybody's down. Everybody's fucking excited. Seven was on board.
Yeah, he produced the majority of this, didn't he?
Everything but 2 tracks. He didn't produce Goodfellas, and he didn't produce My Solo. Godson, who obviously, you know, is one of Magic's, you know, producers. He did those 2 beats, but Seven does everything else. So Seven was down. Godson was down to send us some beats. Magic was fully fucking in. Mike, George, you know, Jamie Paul, like everybody was fucking in. And dude, it just started falling together piece by piece. Like we started getting the beats. On a side note though, we had already, Killer Instinct was already done. Like we had actually done it as a one-off. Like just because we were doing the show and we were like, well, fuck it, let's do another song. If it, you know, if it leads to nothing, it leads to nothing. But so we had already recorded Killer Instinct, and it was already being mixed and mastered to put out and shit before, and then obviously it got put on hold, and then we started doing the whole thing with the Magic socials where they were throwing out bits and pieces to announce, you know, everything. So it was crazy, dude. It became a whirlwind. Like, you know, Buck would call me every fucking day and be like this is what's happening now. Like, you know, what do you think about this track? You know, what do you think about this track? What if we have a track with Ritz and Tech and Twisted and Jelly Roll and blah blah blah? Like I'm just sitting there like, holy shit! Like
this is happening.
Like this is really fucking happening, man. Like, and so it was crazy. It got really fucking crazy, dude. But it was fun as shit, man. It was like it was for me personally. It was everything like I could wish and hope for. I always hoped we would do at least one more. Not really personally, you know, because it is what it is on a personal level. Like if we never did again, at least we did the one. But for the benefit of all the people that were constantly asking and pining and wanting more, like it was exciting for me in that essence, that like you could feel the energy. Like as we were making these tracks, like as we were in the studio and as I was recording this shit, you could feel the energy that we were putting behind these songs, because it was like, we don't want to disappoint like the people from way back then that have been wanting this for years. So like it became a whirlwind, dude. It was nuts.
Do you foresee more projects like this in the future, like Underground Avengers and putting out a Magic Ninja? Do you see that happening in the future? Or I mean, maybe you can't talk about
maybe
it.
7 years.
I'm sorry, you broke up. What'd you say?
So maybe 7 more years from now.
7 years?
Yeah, we got to keep it. I mean, if we took 7 years the first time, why not take 7 years the second time? You know?
Right.
No,
keep it special. In
all honesty, I don't know. You know, it's one of those deals where it just depends on what everybody else wants to do. You know, it's like I'm one entity in a group of 3, and now we have the label. You know, we have Magic too, so it's like, you know, Magic has to want to do more. Like they have to be proud of what the album did. They have to want to do more, and then I mean, obviously the other 2 guys have to want to do more. Like I would love to do more. You know, like I hope that we do, you know, at least one more project. You know, like this one was so fucking dope. Like why not do at least one more? But you know, like I said, I'm one bolt in the wheel. You know, so.
But as a solo artist, you're still technically signed to LSP, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I still do my shit under LSP's umbrella.
Right. And are you working on new shit right now? For solo shit?
Yeah. I'll be hopefully here soon. Like I've been writing before I left. I've recorded some shit like kind of demo style. I dropped a track on my Spotify called "Come and Get It," kind of like a feeler track, see what people were thinking, how it did and shit, and so I'll be working on a new album over the next coming months and shit. No time frame. Maybe late fall. We'll try to next year or maybe summer. We'll see. It just depends on how I'm feeling about it and how quickly I want to push it. So like right now I'm still like F Me F You still doing well, and I still want to push it some because I'm very proud of that album. And I mean, obviously, I want to ride the wave of the UGA album. So
right.
So at this point, it's just a matter of I'll probably slow play it, get the shit together and make sure I put out something that's fucking top notch.
Yeah. Well, with that, man, you want to take a little break and give you some time to take a piss or whatever you got to do. I'm gonna cut your video feed real quick, and then we'll play a couple of Claas videos, and then we'll come back and we'll take some calls. How's that sound, man?
Yeah, let's do it, man.
All right, man. We'll be right back on Wicked 101. Claas isn't going anywhere. We still got him, and we are back on Wicked 101. I gotta pull up Claas here. Claas, are you there?
What's up?
Hey, man. So those were what was that? We had Pain and This Is Death, right?
Yeah, Pain is from a few years ago, but it's a dope video, dude. We shot it at a haunted house local in this room that like has a conveyor belt full of bodies and shit. So
Jesus.
It was dope. And This Is Death is from Devil's Tongue, the most recent release I put out.
Right. So I was gonna say that it was kind of cool that Psycho was in that track because I want to show the crowd something real quick. Can you, I'm gonna cut your video, but your audio is gonna be live for a second. I'm gonna show them something real quick. We actually have an announcement to make for the next episode of Wicked 101, and it is none other than motherfucking. Sorry, it's taking so long. Man, I'm doing everything myself, man. You guys got to wait with me. Psycho from Insane Poetry is going to be on the next episode of Wicked 101. So that was kind of an interesting segue, having Psycho on that track. He's the shit, man. I'm really excited about that because the Psycho's the shit, man. He is. His flow is like horrorcore butter. He's just got this creamy ass fucking awesome voice for it. So I'm really excited about that.
So good fucking words, man. He's just like dude's literally a poet. Like literally, like if you listen to his music, the shit he puts together is fucking incredible, man.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that. So as you guys can see, we have the call-in number up on the screen now, 734-430-0549. And if anybody wants to call, man, give me a call, and we'll put you on the air with Claas. And if you got any questions, you want to talk about Underground Avengers, you want to talk about the old shit, you want to just talk some shit, whatever you want, man, we're here, and we are live, and we are ready to go. Ain't that right?
That is right.
So, you have anything coming up, man, that you wanna push and tell everybody about, or any shout-outs you want to give while we're was waiting to see if anybody calls in?
I mean, I don't have anything to push right now, man. I'm just kind of chilled out. I mean, just getting off a tour. I'm just kind of relaxing, man, soaking it all in. Definitely, if you haven't for some reason checked out the UGA album, man, go do yourself a favor, check it out, man. Like it's like I'm super proud of what we did on that album. I'm really proud of what I did personally on that album. So obviously it did well. It Billboard charted. We're super proud of that fact as well. So yeah, check that shit out, man. Check out Axe's album too, man. Like it was cool getting to know them dudes.
They're killing it.
And their album is fucking dope, dude. It's a good fucking album, man. I enjoy it. I enjoyed it a lot. I've listened to it a few different times. I've got some songs that I fucking love on that album, man. Like so shout out to those dudes, bro. Like they're good people. Like the Axe is, quote unquote family. Like those are my dudes now. So shout out to Magic. thank you for everything, Magic Entertainment, George, Mike, Bat Dan in the Twisted Shop. Like, thank you to everyone
holding it down, man.
Thank you too, bro.
Hell yeah, man. So yeah, man. We talked about UGA. What am I leaving out? Is there anything I'm forgetting? Any important point to the story that I'm not touching on?
No, not really, man. I mean, there's all kinds of shit that surrounds it, dude. Like positive and negative, obviously, but a lot of different. It's a lot different now, with the new backing, but it is what it is. Obviously we debuted our first album at the Gathering in 2011, and then we performed, I think, the next couple of years at the Gathering. So that was a good time, man. Like, it did really well that day too. Like, we were pretty surprised, standing out in the middle of the fucking Gathering, like how fucking well, it was received. How many people were coming up to get it, and how many people were like taking pictures and shit. Like, it was that was crazy in its own self. Like, we didn't even have a label behind us at that point.
Right.
It just was on its own was a big deal.
So I don't know if this dude's being a hater or if he's trying to be funny. I'm just reading the comments here. This dude Kenneth Fritz wants to know, why did you kick Corey Straw out of the Fago Club?
Oh, that's my dude Kenny, and I got it. Sometimes I just gotta remove people from my clubs, man. Like, we've got a fucking club. Like, dude, I'm a complete nerd. Like, I'll be honest. Fucking nerd. So we have a fucking club, like me and some homies, that's just all wrestling based. Like, it's just all we talk about is fucking wrestling and shit. And one of the homies had to get fucking DDT'd up out the group. So
I mean, sometimes it'd be like that, I suppose.
It is what it is. And the song was I Rep. I said it earlier while you were talking, but I don't think you heard me. The other fucking song that was on the album that I had done was I Rep.
Oh, okay. For the first two tracks you guys did, you and Buckshot.
Yeah. It was I Rep and Face on the Asphalt. Face on the Asphalt was Bucks, and I Rep was the one that I had brought to the table.
Right. Well, shit, man. It doesn't look like anybody wants to talk to us. What the fuck,
all good. Man? I'm not a phone person anyways. I like to ignore people's calls and text them back.
Right. All right, man. Well, with that, I'm out of questions. I thought maybe we get some callers and we could talk some shit, but that's all I really got for you, man. So, is there any last minute things you want to say?
A Saturday night in the hood. People like to be out.
Yeah, they're all out smoking and drinking and partying it up and bumping that new UGA album. They forgot.
I hope so. No, like I said, man, just shout out to everybody that supported the album. Thank you guys so much. To do an album after 7 years, it's kind of a mind fuck because you don't want to alienate the people that have been waiting for it, but you don't want to alienate the brand new people that might not know who the fuck you are. I think what we did came together very nicely, and people seem to be fucking with it, man, and I'm mad proud. Hopefully it leads to more. And if not, you can always catch me on social media. You can catch me on LSP, doing my own shit. I'm still an artist, UGA or not. So I will be around.
That you will.
They're all right here. Can I do that thing, that fucking TV thing, or here's my finger at? My social media stuff is right here, down below. There you go, right there.
Right
below here.
Yeah, man, that brings up a good point, man. Motherfuckers need to be following both of us on this social. I got like 20 fucking social media links on here. Go follow each and every one of those motherfuckers, man. That's the whole point. Fucking
follow me for real. I'm funny.
He is funny. That's something else I wanted to say too. Your fucking social media posts crack me the fuck up, dude. You're always like, bruh, and then you go out like this tirade about some shit. You were talking about like a mosquito kicking your ass one time or something, or a fly or some shit. I was cracking up, dude. You're always doing that shit, man. So follow this motherfucker.
Got like seven mosquito stories on my Facebook.
I know, they're ridiculous too. I love it.
Okay.
Man. All right, man. Well, look, we're gonna end this motherfucker, and we'll be back in a month with Psycho, man. Thank you so much for doing this, Class. It's an honor. It's a privilege. UGA, motherfucker, and yeah, man. I appreciate it. And it's really good to see you making these moves, man. I just wanted to give you some shine time because you deserve it, man.
Thank you, brother. Hey, I appreciate that. Big time, man. We've been friends for a long time. It's dope for you to have me on the show. Thank you very much. And thank you to everybody that checked it out and everybody that may check it out later when it pops up online and couldn't watch it live and shit. So,
yeah, if you missed it, it's going to be on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube. I mean, there's any number of ways for you to watch the show, even if you don't like Facebook. So we'll definitely get it out there for them as soon as possible, probably tomorrow or the next day. All that shit will be live. So you can help me share it, and we'll make sure as many people hear it as possible.
Yep. I'm just a dude playing a dude dressed as another dude.
All right, well, with that, man, we're gonna play one more Class track, Shut Shit Down. It seems fitting for the fact that we're shutting shit down. So, yeah, man, have a good night, man, and we'll talk to y'all later.
All right. See you, man.
All right, peace. All right, man. Thank you for watching. Have a good night.